Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, we're going to talk about an aspect of modern leadership that I don't think is discussed too much or even discussed at all, right? So, as leaders in the modern world, we have to be cognizant that people face way too many choices in their life. There used to be a time in society where you had, in almost every aspect, the amount of choices that you had was relatively few. So, for example, let's say you're watching television back in the 80s or 90s, you only had maybe like 5 to 10 channels to choose from. Now in 2023, you have a billion videos on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, um, Rumble, streaming platforms up the wazoo, and cable television. So you have much more choices than you did 20 years ago. But has it led to more satisfaction? Has being presented with more choices made your life better? And the answer, uh, ironically, is probably no. You probably, as a modern leader, you have to eliminate choices for people and only allow them to have maybe 2 to 3 choices at max in whatever idea you're trying to present or sell. The worst thing that you can do as a leader is tell people they can do whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. And them being presented with all these choices, many of them which are similar to each other, and to be honest, quite frankly, bad, they're probably going to be overwhelmed and do nothing and go through analysis paralysis. Now, the first time I ever encountered this idea was when I came became aware of a book called The Paradox of Choice by Barry Schwartz, right? So in this book, he talks about how eliminating choices can greatly reduce anxiety for shoppers. And he talks about how certain aspects of life that are have that in which we've presented in infinite choices are probably leading to depression and lower happiness and satisfaction with the general American population, right? So I'm not going to go too much into the book, but just be aware that this book exists, and so you can go ahead and buy it and read it. This is here the book in Amazon. So you can even see that this was a problem as far as 20 years ago, right? So it's not that it kind of feels like a lifetime ago, but this problem has been there for a while and it's probably getting worse, right? So one of the things that I kind of want to mention is this a web page that talks about this idea of the paradox of choice. So here, there's this infographic, I'm sorry, about what happens when you have too many choices, and they did a study with jam, right? So here you have 24 choices of jam and attracted 60% of the shoppers, right? From a marketing perspective, this is actually great, right? You want people have eyeballs come and traffic in your store, but it's a terrible disaster if you attract lots of people and as few as 3% are buying your product. You cannot have that happen. You're going to go broke. And this is just one example, right? Just something mundane as jam. Now, look at this right here. So in that same study, 6 choices of jam were presented, and yes, it attracted less people, right? So in this scenario, we have 60% of the shoppers coming in and looking at the jams, but only 3% bought. Whereas here, again, only 6 choices, 40% of the shoppers stopped by, but 30% of the shoppers bought the gem. That's a 10, look, that's 10 times more sales. And as you know, entrepreneur, we want people to stop by, look at stuff that we have to offer, and we need to sell them, right? In order for a business to thrive and prosper, we do need to sell them. Just having eyeballs um, come, to whatever offer we're selling and not have them buy, it will lead to disastrous consequences. But you can kind of see what I mean. So if you were in charge of this jam company, one of the aspects of being a modern leader is just making sure that you don't fall into the trap of offering way too many things because it doesn't benefit you and it doesn't benefit the consumer. It looks like a good idea because it's going to look like it's going to attract a good number of people, but people can't make a decision because they face that analysis paralysis. All right. So we talked about the paradox of choice. I talked about how in general, you only want to present two options that are radically different. So what's the opposite of that? So let's just take a look at like colors, right? So, if I present like, hey, what's your favorite out of all these colors, and they're all very similar to each other, people will just stare and they'll just tell you something like, yeah, I don't know, what do you think, right? And that's a common response when you're dealing with too many choices. What do you think? Right? So if I'm gonna, let's say, even present colors, like what color do you want? I would do something like, oh, do you want red or do you want green? Right? They're two very different options. And I know it's obvious, but we in modern society, we encounter so many situations where we're giving so many options, but most of those options are very similar, and you get anxiety and analysis paralysis of what the difference, what is it, and then you don't make a decision, right? You don't make a decision, and nobody wins in that situation. So that's one example. So another example that I was thinking about, and let me move this up here, is McDonald's and In-N-Out, right? So once upon a time, there used to be an era where the McDonald's menu was just simple. And obviously these prices are a lifetime ago, but hamburger, cheeseburger, French fries, milkshake, and some soft drinks. And that was it. And it says US government expected. That's funny. I don't know why. But okay, my point is that for McDonald's, there used to be a time where their menu was simple, and then their menu got vastly over bloated. And I think at one point I read that in 2013 they had have over 135 menu items, and I think after the lockdowns or whatever, the menu decreased. But let's take a look at their modern menu right now. So let's take a look at, so I'm at the breakfast section, and we'll see how many items there are in breakfast. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So some of them are like combos with some of the other options, but there's 24 options that they're presenting, and that's a bad deal just in the breakfast section. Let's take a look at the burgers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's 9 types of hamburgers that they all kind of look the same with just little variation. Chicken fish sandwiches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 different types of chicken. And then they have 2 types of chicken nuggets. So as you can see, the menu, and I'm not going to go through all of this, is just a lot more complex than they used to have it right here, right? Hamburger, cheeseburger, French fries, and maybe milkshakes and soda. And I personally, at this stage in my life, would probably want to go to this restaurant. If I did eat fast food, which I don't, then this restaurant right here, where the breakfast menu itself is just way too overwhelming, right? I just I can't, I don't know what to decide. And that's one reason why I don't like to eat out restaurants if there's way too many choices. I want maybe 2 or 3 options. So think about, if you compare this to In-N-Out, the look at their what they wrote here. Ordering is as easy as, right? So I think there's a cognizant effort from In-N-Out to make sure that there's not too many options in the menu. You have just these 3 combos, these 3 milkshakes, and the flavors look pretty different. And it's just double dumper, cheeseburger, hamburger, fries, and shakes, and some beverages, right? And so what can we learn from In-N-Out that McDonald's used to have is that a simplified menu is probably much better, way, way better. And the reason is that it's just much easier to make a decision. Not only that, I think one of the reasons why In-N-Out has like a cult following is just because you know what you're getting yourself into every time you go to In-N-Out. You have these predictable choices. You know what you're getting, and the idea of understanding what you get is simple, which McDonald's used to be, and now it's a mess, right? So they have way too many options, And I truly believe that in order for McDonald's, and again, I don't know what their business model is and why they have so many choices. And if you ever worked in a restaurant and a new item comes out, there's always like a rush for that new item, and it's always a pain because not now you have something you have to increase your knowledge about how to make that product on the fly, and it was always really annoying to me. But back to my point is that more options does not help people, right? So the idea is that you have a limited number of options that are radically different. So if you're presenting two colors to people, you don't you make sure that it's not this type of selection. It should be like red, green, and blue, or red, green, and purple, right? And then select one. So in real estate, we can also make that type of offers as well. So, and this is what the lottery does too. So think about the lottery. They give when somebody wins the lottery, there's two types of payouts. There's like the lump sum payout where it's not as much, but you just get the whole shebang, or you get payments over time. So maybe you get the whole amount, but you don't get it all at once, right? And that's the type of offers we make in real estate, where if you ever buy a property, you have to make offers that make sense to you. So you might make a very discounted offer and say, hey, I know your property is only $300,000, but I can only offer $100,000 for it for X, Y, and Z reasons. And most likely they won't take it because, it's a really low offer. Or I can offer payments over time. So I know you have it's a $300,000 property, but hey, if I pay $1,000 a month for 30 years, kind of like you be the bank, like a mortgage, you'd actually make more money than $300,000. How's that sound? Right. So that's the type of offers that we have to make when we're doing real estate. The worst thing that we can do to someone who's a potential buyer or seller is just ask them what they want. You have to think of, in your mind, what is your menu of choices? What is your menu of services and products that you would have to offer? And you're not going to give them everything, right? So sometimes you need backup options, but those backup options, it's kind of like the hidden menu on In-N-Out, or the secret menu, where they'll present you with the main menu, but if you don't like these options, then someone who's more educated will figure out what the secret menu is and look it up on their website or on the internet and get those options, like the Flying Dutchman, right? So just something to be considerate of, that when you're dealing with people as a modern leader, you're not giving them all their options. You essentially have to do the study for them, do the hard work, and act as a filter and be knowledgeable about your field, rather than saying, hey, you can do whatever you want, and here's all the things you can do, and you just choose one and then just leave them to the dust to select what they can do. People need to be led, especially in 2023, with all the information that they have. They need to be led. People are looking for leadership. How do I know this? Because I have had people tell me how grateful they are that they worked with me many, many times, over and over again. Over and over again. Like I'm so used to it now that it's just another day for me when someone tells me how grateful they worked with me. And one of the reasons that they are grateful is because I always think about the aspect of leading the people that I work with, even though maybe I'm not in a quote leadership position in an official capacity. I'm not the CEO, or I'm not the whatever. If you're in charge to take care of a group of people, you are a leader. Just be aware of that. And another thing is that everything's practice for the big show. So let's say you're even working at Walmart today as, somewhere at the bottom. Even if the job sucks, just do your best, because everything's practice for the big show, right? Okay. So now that we've had this great discussion on leadership, modern leadership, and eliminating choices, I do need to plug in our group, Korean Atlanta Mentorship. So if you're interested in joining, go ahead and click the Google form link below and send us an inquiry, or you could just go ahead and email us, and you can find our email address in the About section of our YouTube channel. So have a great day, and we will speak next time.